Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk with Evelyn and Michael. I am Evelyn.
And I am Michael. It is so good to be back here with you all. Today, we are tackling one of those words in English that seems simple but is actually quite tricky.
That is right, Michael. We're talking about the word would. W-O-U-L-D. It is a modal verb that pops up everywhere in daily conversation.
Yeah, honestly, Evelyn, even as a native speaker, I sometimes realize how many different ways we use this word. It's used for the past, the future, for being polite, and even for imaginary situations.
Exactly. It can feel overwhelming for learners. But do not worry, guys. We're going to break it down slowly, just through conversation. So, Michael, are you ready to dive in?
I would love to. See what I did there?
I did see what you did there. That's actually a perfect place to start. You said, I would love to. This brings us to our first and probably most common use, desire and politeness.
Right, because saying I want to can sometimes sound a little bit rude or maybe just too direct, like a little child demanding candy.
Yes, exactly. If you go to a restaurant and you say to the waiter, I want the steak, it is grammatically correct, but it's not very polite.
Give me the steak. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's much better to say I would like the steak or I would like to order the steak.
Right. So here, would is acting as a softener. It makes your request gentle. Let's practice a dialogue for our listeners. Michael, pretend we're at a coffee shop. I'm the barista.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm very thirsty.
Hi there. What can I get for you today?
Hello, I would like a large cappuccino, please. And would it be possible to get that with oat milk?
Of course. Would you like anything to eat with that?
Yes, I would love a blueberry muffin.
And scene. That was perfect, Michael. Notice how you used would 3 times there.
Yeah, I said I would like for my order. Then I asked, would it be possible to ask for a change? And then I answered your offer with I would love.
Exactly. And listeners, please notice the contraction. In spoken English, we rarely say, I would like. We almost always shorten it to, I'd like. I'd like a coffee.
I'd like. I'd like. That D sound is very soft, isn't it?
It is very soft. Sometimes you barely hear it, but it changes the meaning completely. I like coffee means generally I enjoy coffee. I'd like coffee means I want a coffee right now.
That is a huge difference. If I come to your house and you ask, do you like tea? And I say, yes, I do, that does not mean I want a cup right now.
No, it's just a fact about you. But if I ask, would you like some tea, I'm offering it to you.
And I would say, yes, please, I would love some. Okay, so that's politeness and offers. That seems pretty straightforward. What's next on the list, Evelyn?
The next one is one of my favorites. It's all about nostalgia, talking about the past.
Wait, I thought we used used to for the past. Like, I used to play tennis.
We do use used to, but we can also use would to talk about repeated actions in the past, things that happened again and again. It gives it a storytelling feeling.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Think about your summer holidays when you were a child. Tell me what happened every day.
Oh, let me think. Well, every morning I would wake up really early. My brother and I would run down to the beach. We would build sandcastles for hours, and then my mom would call us for lunch.
That sounds lovely. Did you hear yourself, Michael? You used would for every sentence. You did not say, I woke up. You said, I would wake up.
I did, didn't I? It feels more descriptive, like I am painting a picture of a routine.
Precisely. It emphasizes that this was a habit. It happened many times. However, there is a very important rule here, listeners. You cannot use would for states, only for actions.
What do you mean by states?
Verbs that describe a situation, not an action, like live, be, have, or love. For example, you cannot say, I would live in New York when I was young.
Ah, right. That sounds wrong. I should say, I used to live in New York.
Correct, because living is a state, not a repeated action like running or playing. So, Michael, tell me something you used to be, but use would for what you did.
Okay, let me try. I used to be a student at university. That is the state, right?
Yes.
And on Fridays after class, my friends and I would go to the cinema. We would buy way too much popcorn, and we would talk about the movie all night.
Perfect! You used used to for being a student and would for going to the cinema and talking. Do you feel the difference?
I really do. The would part feels like a movie in my head. It feels very nostalgic.
It really does. Now, let us move away from the past. Let us talk about the imaginary, the hypothetical. This is what grammar books often call the second conditional.
Ooh, the imaginary world. This is where we dream, right?
Exactly. We use would to talk about situations that are not real right now, usually following the word if.
Like the lottery example? Everyone always talks about the lottery.
It is the classic example for a reason. So, Michael, if you won the lottery, what would you do?
Oh, if I won the lottery, first, I would buy a big boat. Then, I would travel around the world. I would not work for a whole year.
Beautiful usage. Notice the structure, listeners. If I won, past tense, I would buy. We use the past tense after if, but it doesn't mean past time. It means imaginary time.
That is so confusing for learners. I say, if I had $1 million, but I do not have it.
I know, it is strange, but the would part is the result of that imaginary situation. Let's try a different one. Not money. Imagine you were an animal.
Okay. If I were a cat, I would sleep all day, and I would annoy my owner for food.
I think you would make a very good cat, Michael. Notice he said, if I were. In these imaginary situations, we often use were instead of was for I.
Right. If I was a cat is okay in casual speech, but if I were a cat is better grammar. And then comes the would. I would sleep.
Exactly. Let us ask our listeners to pause for a second. Listeners, complete this sentence in your head. If I could fly, I would... What did you say? Maybe I would visit the clouds, or I would travel to Paris.
I would definitely fly to the top of a mountain. No hiking required.
Lazy. Okay, so that's the second conditional, imaginary present or future. But what about imaginary past, regrets, things we can't change?
Ah, the famous third conditional. This is a bit heavier. This is for when something didn't happen, but we imagine what would have happened.
Yes, the structure here is would have plus the past participle. For example, Michael, did you bring your umbrella today?
No, I didn't. And it rained on me. I'm soaking wet.
Okay, so if you had brought your umbrella, what would have happened?
If I had brought my umbrella, I would have stayed dry. But I didn't bring it, so I didn't stay dry.
Exactly. I would have stayed dry. It is a hypothetical past result. It is too late now. You are wet.
Sadly, yes. Let us try another one. Imagine I didn't study for my English test, and I failed.
Okay, make a sentence with would have.
If I had studied, I would have passed the test.
Perfect. And in spoken English, this gets very fast. Listeners, catch this. I would have passed often sounds like I'd have passed, or even I'd have passed.
Whoa. I'd have? That is so many sounds squashed together. I would have. I'd have.
Yes, it sounds like I'd have. I'd 'a gone. I'd 'a seen it. Native speakers do this all the time. Don't feel pressured to speak that fast yet, listeners, but you need to recognize it when you hear it.
Yeah, recognizing it is key. So, Evelyn, we have covered politeness, past habits, imaginary present, and imaginary past. Is there anything else?
There is one more very common structure. It is about preference, the phrase would rather.
Oh, I love would rather. It's like a game. Would you rather do this or that?
Let us play then. Michael, would you rather live in a city that is always hot or a city that is always cold?
Oh, that's easy. I would rather live in the heat. I hate being cold. I would rather wear a t-shirt than a heavy coat.
Nice. Notice the grammar, listeners. It is would rather plus the base verb, not to live, just live. I would rather live.
Can we use the contraction here too?
Yes, I'd rather. I'd rather stay home. I'd rather eat pizza. It means I prefer.
What if I want to say the negative, like I do not want to go?
Then you say, I would rather not. For example, would you like to go to the dentist today?
No, I would rather not go to the dentist.
I don't blame you. Nobody likes the dentist. So, would rather is a great way to express choices.
Okay, this is a lot of information. Maybe we should do a little practice session, like a mix of everything.
That is a wonderful idea. I will give you a situation, and you have to respond using would. Are you ready, Michael?
I was born ready. Let's do this.
Situation 1. You are at a very fancy dinner party. You want the salt. Ask me.
Excuse me, Evelyn. Would you mind passing the salt, please?
Excellent. Would you mind? Very polite. Situation 2. You are talking about your grandfather. He had a habit of singing in the shower every morning.
Ah, my grandpa. Every morning at 7 a.m., he would sing opera in the shower, very loudly.
Perfect. Past habit. Situation 3. You are dreaming about being a superhero.
If I were a superhero, I would save the world, and I would wear a cool cape.
Fantastic. Second conditional. Situation 4. You missed the bus this morning because you overslept. Express your regret.
If I hadn't overslept, I would have caught the bus, and I wouldn't have been late for work.
Very good usage of the third conditional. And finally, situation 5. I ask you to go watch a horror movie, but you're scared.
Thanks for the invite, but I'd rather watch a comedy. I'd rather not have nightmares tonight.
You aced it, Michael. 10 out of 10.
Whew. Thanks, Evelyn. You know, putting them all together like that really helps show the different feelings of the word.
It does. And I think that's the key for our listeners. Don't just memorize the grammar rules. Think about the feeling. Are you being polite? Are you telling a story? Are you dreaming?
Right. Context is everything. Evelyn, I have a question from a viewer, actually. They sent this in last week.
Oh? What is the question?
They asked, what is the difference between will and would when we talk about the future? Because sometimes it gets confusing in reported speech.
That is an advanced question. Very good point. Basically, would is the past form of will.
Wait, how can the future have a past form? My brain hurts.
I know, it sounds crazy. But think about reported speech. Imagine you said to me yesterday, I will call you.
Okay, yesterday I said, I will call you.
Now, today, I am telling someone else what you said. I cannot say, Michael said he will call me, because that time has passed. I have to shift it back. So I say, Michael said he would call me.
Oh, so will becomes would because we are talking about the future looking from the past.
Yes, exactly. It is the future seen from the past. I knew it would rain. I thought you would be late. In the moment, you thought it will rain, but looking back, you say, I knew it would rain.
That actually makes so much sense. I never thought about it that way. So if I promise my mom I will clean my room, and then she tells my dad,
She would tell your dad, Michael promised he would clean his room.
but usually I didn't clean it.
Then she would say, I knew he wouldn't do it.
Exactly. Wouldn't, the negative form. That is another good one to practice, pronunciation-wise. Wouldn't.
Yes, it is tricky. Would not. Wouldn't. You almost swallow the vowel, wouldn't. Listeners, try that. Wouldn't. I wouldn't go there. He wouldn't listen.
I wouldn't do that. She wouldn't eat the sushi. It flows really nicely when you get the hang of it.
It really helps your fluency. If you say, I would not every time, you sound a bit like a robot. I would not like to go.
I would not like to go. Yeah, very robotic. Contractions make you sound friendly and natural.
Exactly. And that's our goal here. Natural, friendly English. You know, Michael, we've been talking for a while. Do you think we missed anything?
We did requests, offers, past habits, conditionals, preferences, reported speech. I think we covered the main ones, but can we talk a little bit about tone?
Tone. What do you mean?
Well, sometimes simply using would isn't enough to be polite. You have to say it the right way. If I say, would you please be quiet? Is that polite?
Definitely not. Even though you used the polite words, your voice was angry. Intonation is so important. When you make a request with would, your voice should usually go up at the end. It should sound soft.
Okay, let me try again. Would you please be quiet?
Much better. That sounds like a genuine request, not a command. English is funny that way. The music of the language matters as much as the grammar.
The music of the language. I like that. So, when you're practicing these sentences, listeners, don't just read them, act them out. Put some emotion into it.
Yes, imagine the situation. If you're using the third conditional, the regret one, sound a little sad. I would have loved to come.
I would have loved to come, but I was sick.
Perfect. And if you're using the second conditional about winning the lottery, sound excited.
I would buy a huge mansion.
There you go. Connecting emotion to grammar helps your brain remember it. It sticks better.
It really does. You know, Evelyn, we've been talking for a while. I wish I would have known all this when I was learning other languages. Wait, did I say that right? I wish I would have?
Close. Usually with wish, we just use the past perfect. I wish I had known. But in casual American English, you'll hear people say, I wish I would have known. It's becoming very common.
Okay, good. Language is always changing, isn't it?
It is, and would is one of those flexible words that helps us navigate those changes. It helps us be social, polite, and imaginative.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. My brain is full of wood.
That is a good thing. Before we go, let us give our listeners a little challenge for the week.
I love challenges. What is it?
I want our listeners to keep a would diary for just one day.
A wood diary?
Yes, just for one day, listen to the English around you, or listen to a movie or a podcast, and count how many times you hear the word would. And try to guess which category it falls into. Is it a polite request? Is it a past habit? Is it a conditional?
That is a great idea. Active listening. Once you start looking for it, you will realize it is everywhere.
Everywhere. And try to use it yourself at least 3 times. Go to a cafe and say, I would like. Tell a friend a story and say, we would always go. Make a joke and say, I would rather die than eat broccoli.
Hey, I like broccoli. But I get the point. Practice makes progress.
Exactly. Practice makes progress, not perfection, just progress. Well, Michael, I would say this has been a very successful episode.
I would agree with you, Evelyn. Thank you so much for guiding us through the maze of grammar.
And thank you to everyone listening. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed this, please share it with a friend who is learning English.
Yeah, help us grow the community. Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
That is how we learn. Until next time, everyone, take care.
See you later.